Well, hello, hello, everybody. How are you today? It's a lovely Saturday. We had a little snow yesterday and the night before, but it's going to be warmer today, about 55, I think, and possibly even get cold again tonight. But we should be over the precipitation for now here in Colorado. This is Harmony Stamps with Michelle, and I am Michelle. I live here in Pueblo, Colorado. If you're in the area, I'd love to get together and hang out, get to know you a little bit, show you some cards, show you how to make some cards if you want. Anyways, I'm an independent Stamping Up demonstrator, and today we're going to play with the Flowering Zinnias suite, which is a suite of products. It includes this lovely bundle, the Simply Zinnia bundle, which is these stamps that make these beautiful stamps and these dies, and I've showed you how the die cuts work as well in the past. And we also have the embossing folder that makes this lovely pattern on your paper, and then you get to decide which pattern you want to go up and which you want to go down. And we'll be using that today. And then we have these beautiful little embellishments, these sequins with 4 different colors. And of course, we have some paper. It wouldn't be a suite if there wasn't any paper involved. The top 3 we're not using today, but we have all of these beautiful zinnias. You can actually cut them out and use them as a focal point. And on the back is that gorgeous grid with that Highland heather. I love it. This is going to make some very, very beautiful cards. I think what I'll do is cut off some of the end, and then I'll have some butterflies going across the zinnias. And then on the back, we have this beautiful pattern. Let me tell you the colors as soon as I find the pack again. Where did the pack go? There's the pack. All right. Excuse the noise, have to change to the right eyeballs. We have Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Flirty Flamingo, Highland Heather, Lemon Lime Twist, which is that color, Lemon Lolly, Melon Mambo, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Pumpkin Pie, and Real Red. So there's quite a selection of colors in these papers. And then we have these even bigger zinnias that can also be cut out as a focal point as well. And this pumpkin pie background with the lemon lolly star flowers. Nice. So we will be using this pattern today, both sides. And we will be using these 2 patterns today, but not their back sides. So this has got dots and crosses, and this has stripes. All right, that is the paper that comes with the suite that we're working with today. Isn't it exciting? And I have my trusty little trimmer out because we're going to be needing it. This is the card, one of the cards that we're going to make today. The other one isn't finished just yet, but we'll be playing with it. So I stamped the zinnia and die cut it. I also die cut a layer to go behind it. And then we have this lovely piece make, kind of a crazy quilt design. And then I went ahead and, oh, sorry, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Ah, my goodness, I guess it's time to start taking the Flonase again. Spring is upon us. All right, I went ahead and embossed that after I attached the paper to it. And who doesn't need a nice thank you card? So that is one of the cards we're doing today. The other one is, as I said, not quite finished, but we will get there. So the first thing we want to do is make us a little template. And so what I would do is measure 2 inches. And with this line, I would do it with a ruler, but right now I can't find my ruler. So I measured the 4, and then at 2 inches, I'm making a little mark here. And then I'll flip it around and do the same thing. And then on this end, I need it at 1 1/4. And so I like to have it a little further out because this line is not as definitive as these lines. And so I would just go to 2 1/4, make my mark, flip it around, do the same thing. And then with your ruler or any straight edge, just combine them. This way, you have a general template. We're not going to be using it except to verify that we're doing things right. So let's go ahead and make that first card. Now with this one, since it is the same piece of paper, it's very important that you have one side, both of the up sides facing up. Okay. So if you did it this way, you're not going to be able to use the different papers. All right. So we're just going to line them up really good. And then what I'm going to do is, so remember what it's going to look like is that. So I want this in the channel, and that's measuring up about to the 2. And this needs to be in the channel. And so you can just get it in the channel, line it up this way. Or you can also just, so you can see this is on 2 and this is on 1 1/4 down here. That corner's on 2, this one's at 1 1/4. That's the other way to do it. And you do want to do both sheets at the same time. And then we're going to rotate and try and keep it together. And once again, we're going to place our template over the top. And we're going to continue rotating until we have these in the cutting channel. When we're happy with that, we're going to pull it away. And again, we're going to make sure we're good and lined up. And this one's a little harder to see, but all right, coming down. As long as you're doing it with, oops, I messed that one up. As long as you're doing it with the paper, it won't matter if you mess up like I just did, except making sure that you're straight and up and down, so that you can get those cross lines. But in any case, so now what you have is 2 different card fronts. And your right corners have to always go to the right corners, and then they'll mash up like that. And then we'll have the same thing down this way. And there we go. So we will have our beautiful little fractured card, whatever you want to call it. But I'll show you how we're going to put those together next. I'm going to put these all away because we don't need them. All right. Let's get my bits and pieces out and ready. All right. All right. So this piece of white is, if I remember, oh, I don't have to remember correctly. I have a measuring tool. It is 3 1/4 by 5. Okay. So we are going to line these up so that we have them going in the right angles. Right angles. Right angles. There we go. Right angle there. All right. And right angle there. Right. And then, no. This, no. Where is our right angle? That. Maybe I have it wrong. It's harder with this one, believe it or not. All right, we have a right angle there. And we need the right angle here. Yes, okay, now we're cooking with fire. And then the right angle here. And wow. No, that's why. Duh, hello. and our right angle there. All right, perfect. Okay. So because I want all of this, attached pretty well, I'm going to go ahead and very carefully line the edges with my seal. And we're going to want about a 1/4 inch gap. But before we make our little gap, we want to make sure we're lined up right again. All right. So on each side of this, we want about a 1/4 of an inch. Oh, let me go ahead and explain that. If you want to get the make and takes, you can go ahead and use the host code on the screen, or it's in the description below. To get the make and takes, you need a $35 purchase before shipping and taxes using that host code. And then I will send you the paper and embellishments to make all 3 of these cards, 2 each of the 3 cards. So a total of 6 cards. You'll need your own stamps, you'll need your own ink, you'll need your own adhesive, but otherwise the rest is coming to you. It'll already be pre-punched if it's a punch, or die cut if it's a die. All right. Sorry, I was excited. I wanted to get on with it because I also have a karaoke show tonight too. So if you're in the area, come on down to the Ethos. We're going to be running karaoke from 7 until 11 tonight. I'm looking forward to that. It's always a good show at the Ethos. All right. La, 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 la. You can also, if you're really concerned about lining up appropriately or well, you can also use the green glue, which we will be using on this project too. It's up to you, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, but with the green glue, you'll have the ability to shift things around a little bit before. With this, you have to just be very careful before you fully set it down and then smash it in, that you have it the way you want it. All right. Coming out, coming out. Yes. A little bit more. Ooh, up. See, this is why the green glue could have been a good thing. All right, I want to line this side up with that line. And there we go. All right. Whew. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, and then we have our final. It's the final countdown. And we're just kind of lining it up on the edges, making sure that we are in line, and we do seem to be. All right, great. Now, excuse me a minute while I get my cutting pen, my little cutting emboss, and I'm gonna need my number 1 base plate. And I'm going to need my number 4 specialty plate, and I'm going to need my embossing folder. All right, so this is the upside, and I use that line to line it up so that I am in basically a straight line, and I just kind of center it-ish otherwise. Press it down, and so that's how it looks, right? We're just going to set it on down and run it through the cut and emboss machine. And sorry for the shakes. It's the way this camera holder sits. All right. All the way through. We're going to drop our little friend back down on the ground. And then the reveal. Haha. How pretty. I love it. And so as you can see, it has all of those pretty little zinnias around the bit. Okay, so then we're going to, because of the embossing, and it's a 3D embossing, I do like to use the green glue for this, just because it's just more secure. So do a line near the edge, but not too close to the edge, especially if it's a thick line of your glue. And some down the center. There we go. Pick it up. And then we're going to place it in the center of our card base. It's just a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. A2 card base. It starts at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then you score it at 4 1/4. All right, so that is that. Yay! And then we're going to color, and that's the fun part. All right, so the first thing you would do, I'm not going to do it because I have it already pre-stamped, is you're going to stamp in Tuxedo Black your, oops, Frozen. Come along, unfreeze. No freeze. Well, that's Frozen. There we go. All right, so you're gonna Tuxedo Black your stamp it on here, and die cut it. All right, we've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. All right, then we're going to need some blends. We need our light Mossy Meadow, our light and dark Granny Apple Green for the leaves. So I'm going to do both of the leaves on these. All right, so that's a dark Granny Apple, that's the Mossy Meadow, and that is the light Granny Apple. All right, I'm using the bullet end, and I'm going to go through and do the stems in the light Granny Apple Green. And this is always the fun part. A little hard to color and chat at the same time, but while I'm doing it, then tell me if you caught my paper pumpkin video yesterday on Wednesday. If you did, there is still time to get in on the anniversary birthday version of the paper pumpkin for March. You need to subscribe by the 10th of March, and then your first kit would include a D-size paper pumpkin block, and then you would get the anniversary paper pumpkin, which is always a really fun thing. They put in a big extra. In this case, in most cases, it's a whole extra stamp set. And that's what's happening on this one. I'm excited. It is coordinating with the Meandering Meadows. All right, let's find our cap. We are done with the light Granny Apple. All right, so we're going to shade in where the lines are with our dark Granny Apple. But I'm looking forward to it. The Easter one we had is so cute. I loved it. Hopefully you liked it too. When you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you are able to order refills and past kits when and if they're available. They aren't always. But the Easter kit is currently, refills are available. Won't be another few months before we can possibly get the past kit. I believe it's like a 3-month wait before you can order and purchase the past kit. So now I'm just going to take that dark Granny Apple Green and color in the base of the leaves. And I am using the bullet tip. If you feel, you have more control with the brush tip, go ahead. These areas are just a little bit small. And when I get to the shading part, it's definitely too small for me to want to use the brush tip, but it is what it is. This one is with the petal pink card base is going to be fun. So I looked up different zinnia patterns. They come in like all imaginable, really, colors and shadings and things. And so this one I kind of figured because the paper itself is so light, it wasn't standing out, but the really bold full colors were too much. So I came up with this coloring method for this one. Because originally I was like, I'm glad I did the dark one first for the other card, because it it taught me what not to do for this one and gave me the ability to think how to do it so it really showed up good. And even then, that's when I ended up coming up with this other idea, which we'll talk about when I get to that section. So the Meandering Meadow is one of our online suites. It's got that gorgeous scenic paper, and the papers in this are definitely going to be complementing that paper. So if you are the type that likes to do alternatives, you're going to have lots and lots of opportunity to do all kinds of alternatives on it. It is exciting. All right. Gets a little squeaky as it gets a little dry. I'm going to be making a bunch of these too because I've got some things to do with them. It's a good thing I have some extra extra ready to go replacements for some of these. Honestly, the greens get used a lot, especially Granny Apple, but and my fresh freesia does get used a lot too, and I will be using that today too. All right, almost done here. But yeah, I'm really excited. My paper pumpkin will be shipping a little bit before I leave for Texas on Thursday, but it will not get here until after I'm back from Texas. And then, of course, we're going to have the opportunity for the premier purchase, product purchase opportunity, which I'm so excited about, which means we're going to be able to purchase some of the products from the new annual catalog. Oops. And if that ever happens, shift it back down and wiggle it out. Okay, holding the cap, and you're pressuring where it connects again. All right, and then we're just going to go along the lines on our leaves and give those some extra darkness for the shadow. And I'm not being super duper careful. I'm just, kind of dropping it in the general vicinity and adding some shade. Good shade, not the bad shade. All right. And if you feel like you need even more, you can go back over it again. All right. And I'm just using the lines the artist provided for me that, kind of look like they should be a darker shade, and that's what I'm doing. And since I'm going over where the other color is, it is doing some blending. That's why they're called blends. All right. So now our pretty leaves and stems are done. And we are done with our granny apple green and our mossy meadow. Now, the technique for this one is going to be interesting. So I'm going to start coloring my my flowers with our ivory. And in this case, I'm going to do the outline with the bullet just because there's some, tight little bits. And I don't want to, go too far so that I'm out. And then once I've got the outline done, I'll come back in with the brush tip. But I also use the brush tip because it's going to be depositing more color. And I'm going over the whole bit, including the interior, because that's going to help layer the different colors the way I want them. All right. So I'm going to get my dark daffodil and get those stars. And because my dark daffodil is in desperate need of replacement, I'm just going to do them like that. And then I'll come back around and get this zinnia. La la, all the fun. So have you had a chance to really check out the products yet and decide which ones you need at home? Would love to know. Drop me a comment. Oh, also, anybody who becomes a Paper Pumpkin subscriber under me will also get 3 free cards. I have all that information in my description as well. So you can see I didn't go all the way out with the brush tip because I wanted to have that, what's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to have it darker towards the center there. And the brush tip makes it darker than just the bullet tip, unless I'm spending a whole lot of time going over it. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to spend a lot of time going over this paper because eventually it will start to not hold itself, start to lose bits of it. All right, here we go. All right, before I color in with the brush, I'm going to come in and get my little starry bits. And again, we're just building color on them. All right, now I'm going to come in with my brush tip on this one in the center. There we go. One last time with this guy on the stars. Let me get the brush tip out, see if that helps. This definitely needs to be replaced. Oh, but there, that's a lot better. Okay, good. All right, so next we are gonna still need this one, so I'll keep that. I'm gonna come in with the dark petal pink, and I'm going to go around the white edges on this one. I just needed to help it stand out from the card base better. And since I was doing the edges, it just made sense to come in and do the interiors too. And, you know, you don't have to be super duper all over it, but try not to get too much into the other stuff. Although since it is currently the ivory, it's only going to add just a little more flush of color. And we haven't added our other colors in yet, so it's okay if it mixes a little bit because we're going to be adding more color in. All right, doing the edges and more edges. And this is the die we use to cut those out. I just figured I'd save us a little time so that we weren't sitting here watching me do all the things. And down and around. Yep, yep, yep. And getting there. This is the tedious part, but you know, if you're just sitting there watching TV or listening to a book or a program, this perfect thing to do while you're doing this kind of work, you know? It's the same sort of thing. So I would just have a whole stack of them and do one shade at a time. When that shade needed a rest because it was getting too dry, I would move on to do other things. It's pretty relaxing, you know. If you've ever spent time coloring just for relaxation, then this is basically that. Oops, I'm gonna have to sneeze again. Oh, sorry. Promise it's not a cold, it is allergies. And this just adds a little bit more of that peach color, or, you know, petal pink. To me, it's a very, very light peach color, so it's slightly orangey is how it flows for me. All right, that one is done with the petal pink. Oh, my goodness. But we do need the petal pink for another part. All right, so then I chose 3 colors for my flowers. I chose Misty Moonlight, Fresh Freesia, and Berry Burst. And for this one, I'm going to use the dark ones only for this card. All right, so I'm going to start with the Berry Burst, and again, I'm going back to that bullet tip, and it's the dark Berry Burst. So I'm coming in and getting those lines. And I'm not really doing a whole lot more than just the lines, okay? My bullet tip is too big to just, do individual lines, so it is, getting a little bit more than just the lines, but that's what you want because color flushes out. In these particular ones I was looking at, that's how it works. It's just darker and deeper at the center, so that has to be fully done in to give you that really pretty. And if it's not quite dark enough, go back for a little bit more. Because these do dry lighter once they dry down, which doesn't take hardly any time because of the alcohol in them. But there we go. That is the Berry Burst. And then we'll do the Fresh Freesia up top. Again, we're doing the dark Fresh Freesia. And we're just doing the same thing, getting those lines. Such squeaky little noises. Almost like a mouse going for food or something. All right, let's get a little bit deeper in here. There we go. So just, a little bit of color added. And then we're going to go for our dark Misty Moonlight on the last one. And once again, we're just going for those lines. So I guess this would be kind of considered a variegated color zinnia. Let's get that center bit really good. All right, pretty good. Happy with that. With the other one, I just went in, I'm just going to show you the Berry Burst one. I'm not going to color the whole thing because I have another one that is colored. I'm going to start with the light, and this time I'm going to avoid the star bits. All right. And if you have some spots that don't get any color, as long as they're not huge and glaring, leave them be. That is what makes it interesting and more lifelike. You don't have to be the perfect, every little bit has the same saturation of colorist that I used to be when I was a young child, and even, good portion into my adulthood, I still did that. All right. Oops. Close. Close, I say. I still need that one. I'm going to do the dark petal pink on those starbursts really quick. And then I'm going to come in with the Dark Daffodil Delight and add. You may not need to do this if yours is fully saturated with color, but it really helps me get that with this one being old. It really helps. So then I have my dark berry burst, and again I'm going to pull out my bullet tip, and I'm coloring in the lines just like I did on the other with the dark. I'm doing it again here. And if I need a little bit more darkness, I pull in, I just go back over it again. I definitely want a good amount of darkness in that center. There we go. And then you would just rinse and repeat with the Fresh Freesia and the Misty Moonlight for that one. Okay, so now, well, this is working, so I'm going to assume it's just my computer that's having trouble. All right, so what I decided was it was just like this. It doesn't really pop from the card, and I wanted it to kind of pop from the card more. And so that's when I started adding the petal pink color to the white bits of the cardstock. But then I thought about drop shadows. So I've done graphic art where you know just automatically add drop shadows in for certain things, and that gave me the idea to just cut a piece of the petal pink in with that same die, and I'm just going to use my green glue, and I'm not going very near the edges at all. I'm just center mass of these flowers. There we go, and not even too far down. Okay. Because I don't want to go off of this with my glue. All right, so I'm going to kind of get that little drop shadowy thing going. Line it up the way I like it so it's peeking out a bit here and there, and then start pressing down until I have my piece glued down, just like that. All right. And then, I mean, it improved it for sure. But then I thought, ooh, what if I take some vellum and put that on it? And so I used our stylish shape dies in the biggest circle. I cut some vellum pieces. And so for this, I'm going to again use the green glue, and I'm just going to use it on the about like that. So I don't want to go too far down into the stems because it's not going to be um, attached to the vellum that way. All right, so once I have it, I'm just using this to kind of get my placement. But you don't want to do too much movement on the vellum with the adhesive, because that's the one thing with adhesive is if the adhesive is over where the vellum is showing, you can see it. And that's not a pleasant sight. So I don't know if you can see it so much in the camera. Maybe you can on the better screen. But all right, so then I went ahead and I'm going to plop that up on dimensionals. But before I do that, I am going to stamp. Oh yeah, here's the remains from cutting out those circles. Where is it? There it is. In Memento Black, I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this strip. It is about 3/4 of an inch. And I will need 2 because I have 2 cards I'm making, and the sentiment is the same. There we go. All right. Tuxedo Blank ink is done for today. Yay. All right. Then I'm going to take my snips and separate the two. just like that, and get rid of the end here. Boop. All right. And then the fun, I'm going to, with the petal pink, use this little bitty, they're little stars, they're the inside of the zinnias, but I'm going to do a kind of a, with the petal pink, it's okay to go full strength. With the berry burst, you definitely want to do stamp off. But I'm just going in the opposite direction, kind of like a zigzag, until I have it covered, just like that. And I can put the petal pink ink away. Boop. And then I'm going to grab my dark petal pink blend. And again, I'm going to grab the bullet tip. And I'm just going to lightly run the edge over the edge of my sentiment, adding just a little bit more color to help differentiate it from the background. You don't want to go too hard because you don't want to damage your tip of your pen. You want to keep that fully intact for future uses. And we're going to put that up on dimensionals too. So let's go ahead and get our dimensionals. One to the outside, another one to the other outside, and then we're going to do 4 on the back side of this, right? Bingo, bingo, bingo. Boop. All right. And before I take the backs off, I want to place things to make sure I like where it's at. And I have this little strip of ribbon, which is from the Zany Zoo collection. I think it is Parakeet Party, but it might be Lemon Lime, actually, now that I think about it. I'll have to double check. In any case, it's highly likely that the embellishment could be retiring. We won't know until March 18th. That's when they're releasing the last chance list. But um, it'll be a little sad if it does retire. But all right, so I think that's about where I'm going to want it. All right, I am going to grab my glue dots and just start picking up some glue dots. I have to fold it over because it is too round, too thick for this ribbon. It won't matter too much either because it is going to be, except on the ends, it is going to be covered a lot. It's just going to be peeking through basically. So once again, I'm going to kind of see where I want it. All right, I think about here is where I remember. And double check before I really press it down. Yeah. All right, pressing down. Now we can take our backings off of our dimensionals. And place this on the card. And then I like to put just a teeny bit of Tombow glue right here where the sentiment is going to come across it. That way it has additional sticking power. I'm going to remove the backings of my dimensionals. Make sure I have my, there we go. Pressing down, I want it down just a little bit lower because I want that ribbon to peek out. There we go. And that is the 2 different versions of this card. Now, if you want to have your colors in a different order or you want to do different colors, feel free. I really liked how this worked out, and in actual, nature, probably as far as, us involving ourselves in making it happen, nature. we have some. There's actual ones that you can grow, but they were probably bred to do that. All right. Once again, I'm just going to put this one together because the process is similar. And I'm going to use my green glue for the backing. I've already pre-done the gluing of the bits and the cutting of the bits. Oh, come on. When you come towards the end of the bottle, it definitely gets a little slower on releasing itself from the bottle until it like goes crazy. All right. Actually, let's make sure we're in the right direction. Yay. Shifting, shifting, come on. There we go. Pressing down. Nice. All right, so I'm going to, yeah, I think I do like it with the drop shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and do the drop shadow again. Just having that extra bit of color poking out really helps. And again, using the green glue allows you to shift things a bit to get them where you want it more precisely. All right, so we're going to get that center mass on the back here and put it on our vellum. Just like that. Nice, nice, nice. Place our dimensionals. And just like the glue shows up there, the dimensionals will too. So we cover up bits that aren't going to be a problem. All right, so then we're going to do the same thing with our little ribbon. And yep, I like it there. So let's get our glue dots. And just pressing down, pulling off would help. There we go. I know, picky, picky, picky. And then one to the center and folding over a little bit. There we go. And our last one for this ribbon, pressing down, pulling off, and folding over. There we go. Once again, let's get our line up where we want it. So it's really about third up from the bottom, or about 2/3 down from the top of the layer piece. That one's a little not straight, so there we go. That's still not straight. Let's come down just a little bit on this side. There we go. Ah, much better. All right, and I know I had it. Where did my... There we go. I already pre-did the sentiment strip for you, but since we don't have Mondo, is it Melon Mambo blends, I used the light berry burst. And as I said, I did stamp off so that it wasn't quite as busy on the inside there. And then one on each end, just like that. And we will go ahead and remove our backings. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like what you see, subscribe or follow me. That would be pretty awesome. That would help you get to see all the fun things that I do. So you can see how I use the berry burst, both the light and the dark, and the fresh freesia and the misty moonlight to give us some different shading and fun bits. All right. A little bit of glue down in the center there. Take our backings off. Make sure our sentiment is going in the right direction. Yes. Lining it up. Nice. And there is our other card. So the two cards we actually made on camera today are these two. You can do all kinds of fun things for your interiors. I usually use about a 5 by 3.5 piece of basic white on the inside. I like to stamp a little something in it. But there's no real small ones here, so what I would probably do is just do a a corner, and I would probably leave it black and white because, or if I was just doing the flower, not getting any of the stem, I might do it in a color. Um, or you could do a corner with the bigger flower too. There's a lot of variety that you could do. Thank you so much is another sentiment, sending flowers and thinking of you. Also, the other sentiment in this set. So there's a lot you can do with it. But that is a little look at the flowering zinnia set for today. Tomorrow, we're going to do some more fun things. We're going to do a little box, a little carrier box for goodie things. So it'll look like this, but with not with this paper, since this paper is retired, but we'll probably be doing something with that so that you can give little gifties away to people if you wish to that fit in those boxes. I've done some with just designer series paper. This one is actually using thick cardstock because I want it to be able to hold a little more weight than the just paper ones. And it also keeps it more sturdy and, lasts longer. All right, so we played around with the flowering zinnia suite today. We had some fun. We made a couple of cards, a soft, subtler card and a very bright card with the melon mambo. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's other things you really want to see. And just say hi. Let me know where you're coming from. This is Harmony Stamps with Michelle, and I am Michelle. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I hope you get a colorful world today.